This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Effizode 687. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on Earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today, Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer, plus it's the return of the much-loved feature News Random, featuring things you didn't know that will make your travel experience more enjoyable. Mike's Daily Podcast. Hey, and we'll also find out about the son had a sister named Mabel. Mike's Daily Podcast. Actually, no, I'm talking about our own sun that illuminates our solar system. And then there was something that happened in the last show that I need to mention, and that is Valentino and Bison Bentley. They tried to get me drunk and drink a lot of tea at a tea party where the tea was spiked. Those dang tea partiers. Mike's Daily Podcast. Always trying to get me into trouble. Instead, I got a little bit tipsy at Mike's the Stitcher Daily radio app. Podcast Open House. Yeah! They are that app that allows you to listen to podcasts through your smartphone, and you can stream them. You don't have to download them to your smartphone like we used to have to do in the old days.
Well, it was a lot of hard work. You'd have to download the podcast onto the computer first, and then click and drop it into your phone using some sort of USB apparatus.
So now, there is this wonderful Stitcher app, and they're wonderful people. They had an open house. They had free pizza. They had beer. All kinds of different beers, too. And wine. And I got to meet Lena Masizzi. She is the producer behind all of these huge, amazing podcasts. In fact, she posted the picture that I posted on Facebook, which is the podcast picture, which you'll be able to see if you go to MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-TRAVEL-5-9-14. She posted that. She made that her profile pic. And Andrea Seabrook once she was the host of the All Things Considered afternoon weekend edition, and she has her own show called Decode DC. She even commented on the picture post. I got so excited, I'm a geek. So, because Lena used to be the producer for Decode DC, and I remember Andrea Seabrook saying her name, and I would go, what a bizarre name. That name is almost as bizarre as Lakshmi Singh or Netta Ulabi. All of my favorite public radio names, as I've mentioned before. I think that's why I don't work in public radios, because I have a normal, boring name, Mike Matthews. And there are 50,000 Mike Matthewses out there. The most boring name, and it's the whole world's vanilla, because everyone's named Mike Matthews. And they all are much more better looking than I and make more money. They're buffer. And it's just, that's how it is. So the Stitcher Open House was fascinating. Podcasters getting together, talking about podcasting and what the time requirements are and where it's going as an entertainment medium and the different ideas people use for podcasts. It was great. All nice, wonderful people. One thing that did not get brought up during this open house in our chat was that people, to make a podcast, you need equipment. And in fact, I was talking to two beginning podcasters. They haven't even done a podcast yet. And I was kind of talking about, I said to them, well, what kind of equipment do you have? And they really didn't have anything yet. So I that's kind of a big hurdle. You need to be able to record this strange apparatus on your face that makes the sounds. So I hope the best for them. I told them that they should email me and, ask me questions, and we should go get beers at Drake's Brewery in San Leandro and drink. I wanted to bring up one other thing, and that is, speaking of technical stuff, that's why my podcast is coming out so late today. I wanted to post this thing like at noon today, but I've just been having technical problems up the wazoo. there I threw that sort of non-specific body part from the 1950s at you. My computer's doing all kinds of weird things. I don't know if I'm having some Adobe Flash problem. I have a PC, and I've just been having issue after issue. Finally, I've just been like, okay, I've been trying to outsmart. I've dropped Firefox and I've moved to Chrome, and I've done this little thing, that little thing. I went to Starbucks and got their happy hour Frappuccino, which if you have a gold card like I do because I drank too much of this stuff that they sell, you get an extra hour from 5 to 6. And I'm recording this at 5:45. I could go down there again and get another damn Frappuccino, but I'm not. I'm way over my weight that I should be. My body mass index is a little high for what I desire. Anywho, wheelbarrows. Today I was looking out my window and they're doing some work on this house. They ripped out all these bushes and stuff in Podcastro Valley. And you know how that goes. Those bushes, they get so old and they weed down there, their roots. They dig under the sidewalk and upchuck everything and crack and just do all this destruction. Nature. It don't like us. And what they did, they ripped all that stuff out, and then the sidewalk was all messed up, so they had to pour concrete on it. Well, they were using a wheelbarrow to move the concrete over, and the guy just spilled, just as I was looking out the window to see what they were doing. Just as I'm looking, it just drops, and there's concrete that goes all over the street. And I'm thinking, who designed the wheelbarrow? The thing is, it doesn't, right? You've got to balance that. If you move one little bit on one side, and the weight wants to pull you on that side, and it's the most cumbersome flip-floppy thing. I don't understand. Is it because of the single wheel in the front that allows you to get into hard to get into areas? Is that the deal? Is it the two little stands that prop it up? Is it the cool old world wood handles that jut out the back that makes you reconnect with your family, all your ancestors, your granddad, your great-granddad, everybody that had to use wheelbarrows? Why this design that is ancient are we still using it when things like the guy spilling concrete all over the place happens all the time? I felt so bad for him. So instead of going outside and helping him, I recorded this podcast. Hey, look who just walked in. Hello, my God, this is Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor, and I have a little crush on Lena Masitsy. Yeah, I don't think there's a person on this planet who doesn't have a crush on Lena Masitsy. Even the people that don't know her yet, they have crushes on her. It's strange. And so to have my picture taken with her is just a joy. Mike Matthews, I saw that picture, and you look way too happy. I do. The amount of happiness in my face no one person should have. It's too much. Too much to hold in one facial area. The skin can't handle it. My eyes couldn't handle it, looking at you. That's very nice. Don't you need to sell something in the gift shop? No. Happy hour Frappuccino time's done. Thank God. Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I believe Lena Masitsy sounds like a Greek name. Yeah, Greek. You gotta love Greeks and Greece. And, a lot of our culture came from that. That's what I discovered when I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's true, Mike. You should read some Plato or Socrates or something. I should. I don't. I end up reading Nick Hornby. Is that the same thing? No, but I enjoyed High Fidelity as well. You look like you would work in a record store. I would. And I would try to sell as many copies as Dwight Yoakam as possible. Why did you point out Dwight Yoakam? Because we're in the C section of your CD collection. Yes, that's right, John Deere, the engineer. As we mentioned yesterday with Chelsea Kreitz, we record the show close to the C section of my CD library. That's just how it is. Actually, and we're a little bit close to the D section, and that's why you mentioned Dwight Yoakam. And yes, that's not alphabetic. True librarian alphabetizing should be under Y. We said Dwight Yoakam, and C section is not a very good word to throw around all the time. So thank you for pointing that out, John Deere. No problem. Tell us about the sun. Okay, yes, the sun. This is fascinating. So, this is kind of a travel show today. We've been doing a lot of travel shows lately, but I think this will be the last one for a while. And I hope you find them very informative. But it turns out that our sun has a long-lost sister. This according to news.discovery.com. The astronomers have been on the hunt for solar siblings of our sun as part of a quest to learn more about how and where the sun was born and perhaps why our star has become host to a life-bearing planet, the one in which you are living on right now. This week, a team headed by the University of Texas made a report that says that they have found a star that almost certainly formed from the same cloud of gas and dust that produced our sun. It is known as HD 162826775 Hut. It's an odd name. Well, most of that name is correct. Is about 15% bigger than the sun and located about 110 light years away in the constellation of Hercules. Muscles. Scientists matched the star's chemistry. Telltale concentrations of the rare elements barium. And that stuff is, you got to drink a whole bottle of that before they do that check on you in the hospital. Not looking forward to that. And yttrium, both of those, since they have both those, well, that's the sun's chemical components. They also tracked HD 162826's past orbits around the center of the Milky Way to discover its link with the sun. Out of 30 potential sibling stars, only this HD 1634549 satisfies both our dynamical and chemical criteria for being a true sibling of the sun, said lead author Ivan Ramirez, who wrote this in a paper to be published June 1st in the Astrophysical Journal. This HD 8675309 has been on an astronomer's watch list for some time. So far, they've pretty much ruled out the presence of an orbiting hot Jupiter planet, a massive planet circling closer to its host star than Mercury orbits the sun. This HD OU812 may have smaller terrestrial planets, the scientists say. With new surveys, including an ongoing study by Europe's Gaia telescope, more solar siblings should be discovered soon, according to Ivan Ramirez. So isn't that cool? Our sun sister. What do you think about that? Finding the sister of the sun. The sister of the sun. The sister of the sun. Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show. MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. And then there's the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Oh, that was down today. Oh, I probably shouldn't mention that. Oh, yeah, but it was down. The servers were down for the My Domain people. Oh, my God. So many things, and I had to wait 15 minutes just for them to tell me, oh yeah, our servers are down. I could have told you that. Oh, this internet thing. It can be a pain in the ass sometime, can't it? Anyway, it's up now and fully functional. MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. It has links to where to listen to the show in iTunes. Subscribe to the show in iTunes and comment and rate the show there. And that way more people will find out about us. Another way to help us get the name out, the word rather, of the show, just to get it out, is if you were to like the Facebook page. And a link to that is at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Like the Facebook page, and when I post a new show, share it with your friends, and more people will find out about Mike's Daily Podcast that way. There's also links to where to listen to this show on Spreaker. We're also on Stitcher, as I was talking about them earlier. We're on YouTube and SoundCloud, Mixcloud. You can also find us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Yelp. And if you go to MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, on the left-hand side of the page, a great way to help out the show is the Amazon deal of the day. Click on that. You'll get a great discount on some item that they got a hot sell now thing on. And if you buy that through our website, then that helps us out. There's also the blog and the daily podcast picture at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
News Random.
So here's some interesting tips and some news that have to do with travel here on News Random. How do you keep your clothes fab when you're traveling? Well, according to Via from AAA, deciding what clothes to pack for a special trip can be tricky, especially if you're heading to a destination known for its stylish inhabitants. A little advanced planning makes it easier, according to AAA travel counselor Rose Rogan. With a bit of forethought, you can hit the road with plenty of nice outfits all tucked into a single suitcase. Imagine that. Go feet first is the first suggestion. Overpacking usually starts with shoes, says Rogan. She suggests that 3 pairs should be your maximum. You need comfortable walking shoes, 1 dressier option, and then sandals, if needed. Wear the bulkiest pair on the plane and pack the other 2 in a plastic bag or shower cap to keep them from dirtying your clothes. Second, color coordinate. Pick a theme. Black, navy, khaki, and go with it. Then mix and match as your itinerary evolves. Avoid plaids and patterns. And remember that dark colors tend to look less rumpled than light ones. Roll with it. When it comes to t-shirts, underwear, and jeans, forget folding. Rolling them saves space. Then wrap more formal clothing in dry cleaner bags and layer them on top of your rolled up staples. Fourth, repeat after her. Don't be afraid to wear something twice, says Rogan. She wears clothes on the plane, comfortable jeans, layers on top, that she can wear again during her trip, either together or separately. And if you're a woman, accessorize smartly. Stylish touches such as scarves, ties, and reversible belts can add variety without taking up much room. Jewelry can serve a similar purpose, but don't overdo it. Bring along 1 striking necklace or pair of earrings that goes with many outfits. And finally, spray wrinkles away. Pack a small, empty spray bottle that you can fill with water at your hotel. Hang your clothes and spray them lightly. It's a great way to get rid of wrinkles. Let's go hiking. When you're 5 miles down a trail, even a small blister or wood splinter can become a big painful problem. Also, according to Via, a well-stocked first aid kit could save the day, but many hikers don't even bother to bring a single bandage, says Julie Anderson, who works as a backcountry paramedic and an instructor with Wilderness Medical Associates International in Alaska. She says in Via magazine from AAA, a lot of people buy pre-made kits, but those are so bulky that they often get left at home. Her advice, make your own light, useful kit. Start with bandages and pieces of sterile gauze in several different sizes. Athletic tape can prevent blisters, protect wounds, or stabilize a sprained ankle. Anderson also brings along pain relievers, a small tube of antibiotic gel, sharp pointed tweezers, and latex-free gloves to keep any splinter surgeries germ-free. Sunblock, a multi-tool, and a small flashlight can also come in handy. But ideally, a kit for a day hike weighs around 6 ounces, she says. That's about as heavy as your smartphone.
It's alright, she moves in mysterious ways. It's alright.
This is a mysterious spot. Alan Ashton's Thanksgiving Point in Lehi, Utah. What does a multimillionaire do with a big pile of money? If you're the co-creator of the software program WordPerfect, you might buy an old dairy farm and transform it into an unusual combination of farm, gardens, dinosaur museum, and learning center. The jewels in the crown of this creation are 15 themed gardens, Among them, a hidden enclave inspired by the Frances Hodgson Burnett novel, The Secret Garden. You enter through a small arched door that opens to reveal a colorful profusion of English cottage flowers. In the fragrance garden, the orangey scent of geraniums mingles with the chocolate bouquet of daisy-like cosmos. A 65-foot waterfall in the gardens tempts guests to pose for snapshots. Visitors can roam among 60 complete skeletons in one of the world's largest dinosaur displays and play junior paleontologist with a fish fossil in the Museum of Ancient Life. If you want to lend a hand with the afternoon cow milking, you can head over to the farm country area. In the Italian garden, daisies contrast with the classical cascading water basins that pay homage to 16th century architect Andrea Palladio. And for Friday night fun, sign up for their dinosaur-themed evenings. Visitors of all ages can watch a 3D movie on a monster-sized screen and get a look behind the scenes at the Dinosaur Museum. This at Alan Ashton's Thanksgiving Point in Lehi, Utah. That also according to, yes, Via Magazine. This last issue was a really good one. Gas stations. Well, there's a vacant gas station that's notorious in Podcastro Valley, California, at the corner of Stanton Avenue and Castro Valley Boulevard. It has been a confusing ghost town, a ghost station, for a number of years. It's frustrating that it has been an eyesore for so long, says Hank Duwall, whose business Connie's Tropical Fish is next to the deserted station. Duwall says he sees the station open once a year for about a week. I have never seen this. A tactic he guesses is how owners manage to keep their operation permits current. 2 years ago, the station was open and labeled with Valero signage advertising gas at $3 per gallon, but the pumps were dry. Fencing returned within a week, and at that time, Valero spokesperson Bill Day said the location was one with a branding agreement with his company, who would do nothing more than supply gasoline to the location. This according to the mini magazine Castro Valley News. Alameda County planner Sonia Urzua explained any permits Valero had to open for business expired in 2010. There have been no other applicants coming in, and we're hoping someone will come in soon with a proposal, she says. Business owner Duwall boils much of the situation down to appearance. He says, it's disappointing. The first thing you see when you come up the hill to Podcastro Valley is this abandoned gas station. As we go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California, with mystery ghost town gas stations.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the picture is of Lena Masitzis and I there at the party last night, the Stitcher Podcast Radio app open house. It was a lot of fun. And I would like to say I helped out in some way, helping inspire some potential podcasters, set them off on their merry way to do their podcast where they're going to cuss a lot, talk about crack and comic books. So I'm glad I helped out in some way. Tomorrow we were going to bring you this wonderful segment we call Into an Interview, where we're going to have a very special guest. It is a mystery right now. And we'll also hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster.
Mike Matthews, I can't wait for that show. And I also can't wait to give you this wonderful gift from the gift shop.
Oh, it's a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, I hope you like it, Mike Matthews.
Thank you, Chely. I like the bow on it, too.
You're welcome.
In fact, I'll take the bow. You can keep the wheelbarrow.
I don't want it.
Well, Mike, I'll take it because I'm Floyd the Floorman, and I'll carry around a lot of sawdust in it in case somebody throws up in the last place on earth. See? Floyd the Floorman. He turns lemon into lemonade. Mike, I never understood that expression. How is getting lemons and turning them into lemonade the same as having a bad situation and making it into a good one? I mean, is having lemons a bad thing? Yeah, it'd be more impressive if you were given radioactive waste and made lemonade out of that. I think the Brewmaster has actually done that. I think he has. Brewmaster, have you done that?
I don't like to give away my recipes. Oh, boy.
All right, yeah, the Brewmaster. That's the Brewmaster, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be on tomorrow's show. No, I think I've ensured no one will listen to that show.
Yay! I can't wait.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Long time ago when we was fab.